So one of the things that me and Bill talked about a while back was this car. A lot of people see this car and they think it's something else. I had a guy tell me the other day he thought this was a 34 Ford because of probably the way the grill shell is shaped on a 33 or a 34 Ford. They have a grill shell. It's not exactly like that, but it comes down and it slants out like that. Now the difference between this and the 34 Ford is that the axle runs under the radiator, and on all of those early Fords the axle sits out in front of let me say this right, the axle does sit this way, but the spring goes from side to side. So this car and a Chevrolet and a Plymouth and a lot of them would have a leaf spring here and a leaf spring over there, where on the early Fords the leaf spring, it's called a semi-elliptical leaf spring, and it's transverse mounted, meaning one end of the leaf spring is here, one end of the leaf spring is here. But I can see where if somebody didn't know a lot about old cars, they'd say, oh, it's 34 Ford. Well, I have other people saying it's other kinds of cars. And Bill made the comment, wouldn't it be nice if there was a Studebaker sign, or even especially a Studebaker Rockne sign? And there actually is. There's a Rockne tag plate right here. There is no Studebaker sign on the car. Well, this car originally had a Studebaker sign. In fact, it had a Studebaker Rockne sign. And this is it. And if I get the light just right, you can read down at the bottom in shiny chrome letters it says Rockne, and then across that white part it says Studebaker. It's like a white written Studebaker. And this goes right here. So I'm going to put it, there's a little bitty brass bolt made into the back of this with a square hole, and you'll see there's a square hole right here, and that goes right there, and the screw to hold that would come around from this side and go in right there. Now there's another sign here, and there's this one. And this one says Rockne. It's red, white, and blue. I'm guessing this one goes down here. I've never known where this goes. I've seen these for sale, but I've never known where it goes. But there's a hole down here. So I'm going to, first of all, grab this Rockne sign before it falls off, because it's made out of, it looks to me like silver and glass. And if I get the angle just right, you can see that Studebaker sign, because the shine on this, in a way, there you go, you can kind of see it there. When it shines, the shine outshines the white letters that are right there. But we've got a hole here, and maybe, and I'm going to sit you down here, I'm going to put this Studebaker sign in my pocket so it doesn't fall. And then we've got this sign, and it has a spring and handle on the back. I don't know if this is supposed to go right there. It doesn't seem like it is, because it feels like it isn't going through that hole. Now this one is I thought it'd say that one is steel, but that one is also not magnetic. So that may be silver, or see, it says made in Rockne, and then it says USA down at the bottom. Can you see that? Made in. So that doesn't appear to go there. Well, see, if it did go there, then that hole would fit this, but it doesn't. I wonder where this one went. It's cool to have. I mean, yeah, it's cool to have it because it says, you know, I got one that says Studebaker and one that says Rockne. I wonder if that one originally would have gone. Let's try that. Oh yeah, see, that fits that. So it could have been, and I'm guessing here, and I'll look this up later and try to find out, but it could have been that one of these came out in one particular year and one came out in another year. They both will fit there. In fact, it might be interesting to try. And I'm going to pull this like I did the other one. I'm going to pull it out of the way and put it in my pocket so it won't fall to the floor. I don't know if it would break. I'm guessing it's pretty unbreakable, as old as it is, or it would have broken by now. Let's just see if this thread fits that. It does. Not only did, yeah, it fits that. So that thread, this thing is on a little thing with a spring on the back of it. That fits that, which means that I could use this to put this up here and have that on the back, and I would probably have to put something like a spacer, and there may have been originally something under there for this to sit on. Something to put a little pressure on that to keep that from unscrewing. I don't know. I got to do research. But let me tell you about this. I've been looking for one of these things for a long time. And I saw one on eBay, and it sold, I believe, for, I'm guessing the exact number, but I believe it was like $287 for one of these that was in good shape. Now I saw another one, and it was beat up and scratched up, and the glass was broken out of it, and you couldn't read it anymore, and it was just a real mess. And they wanted $150 for that one. And I've seen these other ones, these red Rockne signs like the other one. I've seen them too, and they all go for $100 or more, $100, $150, something like that, or more. The price just goes up on these. For example, if you can find a real Rockne hood ornament, I saw one somewhere one day and it was about $4,000. So this is a rare car, and parts for it can get really expensive. I do have another Studebaker piece that I can show you, and it's tiny. And it came off of something else. Let's get it out and put it over here on the back of the Rambler. So this piece right here, that's a Studebaker piece. Now that's about an inch, probably less than an inch this way. Probably this might be 3/4 of an inch. This might be an inch and a half here. And I've seen a lot of these. Usually they're painted red with the paint rubbed off so that this part shows through. And this says body built by Studebaker. Now something like that looks like the kind of thing back in the old days. Chevrolet would have a sign right in this part right here, and it would say body by Fisher. And this may have been something like that, but I don't know where this goes, and I don't even know which Studebaker that went on. I was just happy to get a sign that said Studebaker. So now I've got this one, and I've got that one, and then I've got this one that says Rockne, which is pretty cool. This one says made in USA with Rockne right there. So, okay. So either way I go, I could put either this one or this one on the front of this car. I'd rather put the Studebaker on there, mostly because it says Studebaker. See, when you see this car and you see it, this is a Rockne. Well, nobody knows what a Rockne is. Mike registered this car as a Rockne, and he used to call it a Rockne when we would go to a car show. And technically, it's a Rockne, but Rockne was built by Studebaker, and there was a famous football coach named Knute Rockne, and he was so famous, he was a superstar in his day, and so they had him become the president of the advertising department. They built the whole car just in his honor, just for him. This was Knute Rockne's car. It was a Rockne, and they built them in 31 and 32. And they built, I believe one was a 75 and one was a 65, but I could be wrong. One was a little bigger than the other one. There's differences in them, like one had a different firewall shaped a different way. One came down at an angle, one came down straight. I actually sold parts. I wish I could have kept them, but I was living in Maine and we had that big flood and my truck got messed up and everything got messed up, and I was trying to get down here, and I called some guys over in Vermont that were in the Studebaker Club, and I said, I've got fenders for this car and a hood and some side pieces, and I need somebody that'll get them and take care of them, and I'm willing to sell them wicked cheap if you can get over here and get them today. So this guy drove all the way from Vermont, and he loaded them all up and took them home, happy as a clam. And I'm glad for him, because those parts got used. I wanted them to get used. I didn't want them to be sitting around someplace where who knows what could happen, including at my house. I did save the rear fenders, and they went on the rat rod trailer. And I've always thought, if I decided to, I could always put those rear fenders on this one. But I'm not into fenders, and if somebody ever wants to do that with this car, they can. In fact, for a purist, having an original Rockne is a fabulous thing, because you've got a super rare car and it's original. But this car has the original frame and the original body, and it's pretty original in many ways, but it's got a Corvette engine in it and a Corvette running gear and positive traction rear end, R400 4-speed transmission, overdrive, all that fun stuff. But to me, this car still has a lot of the original stuff, but it also has stuff to make it much more drivable. You jump in an original Rockne and drive it from here to Alabama. Well, that's going to be a fun trip, and you might make it. But if you jump in this car and point it at Alabama, and just fast as you want to go, buddy, she'll go. If you can keep it on the ground, she'll give you what you're asking for. So that's where we're at with that. So I wasn't shooting for keeping it original, but I was shooting for, I didn't build it, so I can't say what I was shooting for, but I am at this point wanting it to be the best it can be for what it is. Now I could put, and I've thought about this, I could put that Studebaker emblem in here. I have a hole here. I'm not sure what this is. That's probably what holds the dash on. But I have a hole here. And I had this Studebaker sign. Somebody made that. Somebody with a CAD machine that cuts out steel, or whatever they call those machines that cut stuff. Somebody cut that Studebaker sign there, but that's not an original one. This is a picture of Mike, by the way. Mike, this is his memorial picture. He's the guy that built this car, and a darn good friend of mine. He's gone now. Bless his heart. And these skull head things and all, that was Mike's. Everything about this car was Mike's, except for now it's got a more powerful engine, and I've taken care of some of the bugs in it. It didn't have a lot of bugs, but there was a few. And it's a work in progress. It goes on, and someday I'm going to die, and then someday somebody else will take this car and take it on from wherever it is when I croak over. So what I could do, and this is getting into non-original territory, but what I could do is I could take this Rockne sign and put it up top where I showed you. And I could take this one and come down here and make a hole, say right there, and then put that right there. Bolt that right there. Not a lot of people are going to see it later, but it'll be on there. So, all of this will take more consideration. So I don't know if I told you or not, but I bought both of these for less money than just one of them would have cost if it hadn't been for that nice person at the Studebaker Club alerting me that these were out there. So I'm going to put these in this bag with that one, and then I'm going to put them in here. And put them in here so that they'll be in place where I know where to find them. Put them in this nice little bag right here. Okay, questions? None? Okay. So this is we're in pollen season here. I cleaned this car up and drove it to a car show thing the other day and brought it back, put it in the garage, but it's still covered in pollen, and that's kind of what happens this time of year. Actually, they're both pretty dirty, so we do have a car show coming up next weekend, so I'm looking forward to that. And then I talked to Bill today, and he might go with me. So it's going to be over at the Big Water Marina over in Hartwell, Georgia, next week. Ho, the joy! All right, so there's that.